Hello guys, welcome back to the Mr. Smelly Fragrance Review channel. So before we get into today's video, I just wanted to kind of share something, get something off my chest that's kind of upset me a bit earlier today. It's just the way that people have become so inconsiderate now, I think, in the modern world. So I was down the shops doing a bit of shopping in my local high street, and an elderly lady tripped and fell over. She was lying in the pavement across the road from me. And I couldn't believe it really, because quite a few people were stepping over. I saw a couple of other people walked out in the road to get round her and just carried on about their business. So I wasn't happy. I went over there and I went up to the old lady and I said, "Are you okay?" And she said, "Yeah, I'm fine. I think I've just lost my balance." So I said, "Well, get up then. There's people trying to get round here. You're in the way." Hello everyone, welcome back to all of you in the Smelly Army. So today we're going to be having a look at my top 10 men's designer fragrances for spring 2020. Springtime then, of course, an optimistic time, a time when the weather hopefully improves, flowers start to reappear and the green leaves come back on the trees. So a nice time of year. In terms of fragrances, it means that I'm reaching more often for things that are maybe citrusy, a little bit green, a little bit leafy in smell, and maybe have some floral notes, optimistic smells. Of course, wear whatever you want any time of year, but in this list I'm going to have fragrances which make me feel in a kind of spring-like mood. I hope that makes sense. So I'm going to start off with the first one. These are in no particular order, all 10 equally good. That's my way of doing things. SAUVAGE, the first one that I'm going to talk about today. This is from, of course, the house of DIOR, first released in 1966, a superb, brilliant citrus aromatic fragrance from the master perfumer Edmund Rudnitska, hailed by many perfumers over the years as an inspirational and hard to beat men's fresh fragrance. I'm very lucky, I've got an original or vintage bottle here, and this is a backup bottle, 100ml here, and I've got a smaller one here. If you can get the old version, it is better. It has real oak moss in it, it lasts a bit longer, and it's got this kind of three-dimensional vibrancy, which the modern version doesn't quite have, but the modern version is still very, very good. So a lovely green bergamot opening, citrus freshness, this kind of white musky undertone. It was the first fragrance, I think, or one of them, to use the ingredient of hedione, which apparently is supposed to have been scientifically proven to have an effect on the part of women's brains that is responsible for sexual attraction. That's apparently a good effect, I mean. Hasn't actually worked for me in that way yet, but I really like the smell. Excellent fragrance from Dior. The modern version's still good. Classic citrus, floral notes, green herbaceous kind of middle notes. To me, timelessly elegant. Doesn't smell dated, it just smells absolutely fantastic. But it does, maybe has a slight retro gentlemanly vibe, but you know, any man of any age can wear this. If you can't track down the vintage, just get the modern version and spray a hell of a lot. Don't forget, if you'd like to join the Smelly Army private members club over on Patreon, there's a link in the description to do that. It costs just $2 a month and you get an extra video from me every week, plus you get to watch everything I've already uploaded in there. We're building a really nice community, lots of interaction, and I'd love to see you in there. So let's move on. The second one in the list then is going to be something much more modern. And you might be surprised to see me include this one, but I want to give I know a lot of people may watch this kind of video who don't watch all of my videos, and this is for recommendations for people, maybe younger guys watching the video. So Mont Blanc Explorer, 2019 release, this one, and of course it's very famous for smelling similar to Creed's Aventus, which is of course one of the big famous fragrances of our era now that a lot of people know about. And this is a much more affordable alternative, and really the first designer fragrance house to bring out effectively a clone or a highly influenced fragrance that takes its cues from Aventus. So nice citrus, bergamot freshness. This I think has got quite a lot of sort of synthetic ambroxan stuff that makes it last really well. The original Aventus pineapple, bergamot, jasmine, vanilla, smoky birchwood. This not quite, maybe not an out and out clone, but a very similar vibe. It's got that sort of citrus with musk combination, nice kind of jasmine florals in there, and in the base, quite a lot of fixatives, making it last really well, and it's certainly in passing in the air, you'll notice a great similarity with Creed's Aventus and Niche Fragrance, which is of course a great choice. So if you're looking for something in that vein with a nice classy packaging, very affordable, Mont Blanc Explorer, yes, I do recommend that for anyone really, but particularly younger viewers may enjoy that one. Moving on then, we're going to my third choice. Ooh, this is interesting. Now tell me if you know about these fragrances. There's one of them you might not know. So I'm going to do a 2-for-1 here because I didn't want to do too many where I've got like several from the same house, and these are both from Dolce & Gabbana, both a little bit hard to find nowadays. So we've got Dolce & Gabbana Pour Homme, the original Eau de Toilette. Again, I'm lucky to have a stickered vintage version. First came out in 1994, and here is Masculine from Dolce & Gabbana, probably even more hard to find, and this is completely discontinued. This you can still get in a modern version, which is still quite good, but not quite as lovely as the original. And Masculine, 1999 release, and I love it. So both these fragrances are really good, fresh fragrances with a bit of character and depth to them. The original Pour Homme has mandarin and bergamot opening notes. It's also got this kind of slightly synthetic but very pleasant tobacco accord, and a lot of very pleasant woods in the base. Some floral notes in there too. Really, really nice, sophisticated, all-round, any occasion kind of fragrance. Maybe a bit of a classic 90s vibe, I guess. Again, if you can pick up the old version, longevity may be a little bit better, and something magical in the smell, preferable to the modern versions where the logo is just kind of printed on the bottle rather than the sticker that we get here. It's signifying the made in Italy version. Superb, sophisticated, brilliant fragrance. Masculine came along in 1999. Again, very much a lot to do with some citrus. Really nice kind of herbal, even more of a kind of green herbal middle thing than Pour Homme. They're very similar in the occasion you'd wear them, and the kind of spring-like happy vibe. And a really, really nice woody base. So citrus, kind of green leafy notes, even maybe a hint of mint, some rosemary in there, bit of spiciness too. But very, very fresh, very vibrant, would have been very youthful at the time, but may have a slight 20th century vibe to modern noses. But if you can track that one down, that's totally discontinued now. Starting to fetch high prices on eBay, but a really fabulous scent indeed. So I think that was number 4. We're going on to number 5 now. Hang on, I've got a bit lost in my list. No, we're going on to number 4 now, aren't we? Another modern release, and I'm pleased. I'm always pleasantly surprised when I find a modern designer fragrance release that I can really get behind. And Gentleman Givenchy Cologne is just that. So this release from 2019 is really superb stuff. They brought out a new Gentleman Givenchy a few years back, and there's been all kinds of flankers, but this is the freshest of the bunch, as symbolised maybe by the white label. Wonderful citrus with iris. Some people have said that there's a little bit of a DIOR Homme vibe in this one, or maybe DIOR Homme Eau or DIOR Homme Cologne, and I agree there is a little bit of that, but it's got its own unique character. So iris has this kind of waxy, almost powdery kind of feel about it, and the accord of iris in here really stands out as making this unique, combined with very pleasant, fresh, natural smelling citrus notes. Longevity not the best, but a really, really great modern release, and I love the classy bottle design. Gentleman Givenchy Cologne, beautiful, great work scent, great everyday scent, definitely a spring-like happy feel for me in this one, and something that sort of, those first few days when it's no longer raining and cold nearly all the time outside, this is the kind of thing I'd like to spray on with reckless abandon. So let me know if you've tried that one, guys. Moving on then, the next one in the list is from the house of Chanel. Could have chosen a lot from them. Don't think I've ever included this in a seasonal list, so I wanted to this year. It's Platinum Egoist, or in my case, Egoist Platinum from Chanel. So this one released in 1993. Superb, very fresh, almost barbershop-ish maybe kind of smell. So there's some lavender in there. There are some citrus accords and florals, of course. And there's this kind of soapy metallic thing in this one, which you may or may not enjoy. I think there's also, I'm pretty sure it's a fact, there's a lot of dihydromercenol, which is an ingredient also found in Cool Water from Davidoff. Maybe they were kind of answering that one, Chanel, back in the mid-90s. And you can also find it, of course, in Creed's lovely green Irish tweed. So that gives you an idea. It's kind of soapy, it's masculine, it's fresh. It's got a bit of a barbershop vibe. And it's just lovely when the springtime comes around. Great performance on my old bottle. It used to be called Egoist Platinum, then they swapped the names, and it's Platinum Egoist now. Still a great one for me. Let me know what you think about Platinum Egoist from Chanel. I thought it was definitely worthy of inclusion in this year's spring list. Moving on then, the next one is going to be another, again, might surprise you here, guys. Wasn't sure, but I thought, yes, damn it, I'm going to include this one. It's DUNHILL Icon Racing. Okay, so this came out, I think, in 2017. And it was, of course, a flanker to the original DUNHILL Icon. Now, if I've left out some old ones that were in other spring lists, in most cases it doesn't mean I've gone off them, but I just don't want to repeat myself too much. So I'm trying to give you variety. These are not the only 10 best definite designer fragrances ever for spring, but the ones I want to share with you today. DUNHILL ICING shares with the original Icon a freshness, but has a much more modern and youthful smell. Some people have compared it, and this may not be a good thing, to Invictus Aqua from Paco Rabanne. We've got some bergamot, some grapefruit in here. I think there's some gaiac wood. There's quite a lot of synthetic notes, and it does have this sort of very modern shower gel-esque, almost a synthetic sweetness as well. Something about it I find kind of likeable when I'm just not in the mood for a classic old school gentlemanly fragrance. If you are a younger person looking to not smell like somebody's granddad or like Mr. Smelly, but you want something fresh and something nice for an everyday fragrance, not too easy to, it is rather easy to get for a good price now, then DUNHILL Icon Racing in the British Racing Green and with rather nice packaging, really good option if you ask me. So I decided to put it in the list. Okay, that was number 6. Next on, we're on to number 7 in the list. Going back in time a bit, superb stuff this. This is Eau de ROCHAS HOMME. So Eau de ROCHAS HOMME was first released back in 1993. It's a fantastic lemon verbena centric fragrance. It's actually a great alternative to the much more expensive and rather not very long lasting Neroli Sauvage from Creed, which is also centered around lemon verbena. Now, lemon verbena, if you smell it, there's a lemoniness and a kind of green grassiness about it all at once. It's a quite unique and lovely aroma. There's also all kinds of supporting players. There's some wild rose in here, quite a lot of different floral notes. There's violet. And in the base, you've got your typical kind of vetiver and oak moss notes. But there's a uniqueness about this. If you go and smell Creed's Neroli Sauvage and you can't find this one, you're not always going to see in your stores. You have to order it online, where it's extremely affordable, which is can only be a good thing. If you like Neroli Sauvage, which you might find in your local department store, and you want a cheaper alternative with better performance, this for crazy, stupid, cheap prices like £16 for 50ml. Stunning, brilliant juice, lovely for springtime, optimistic, fresh lemon verbena. What could be better? Okay, now we're on to numero 8. It's going to be another 2-for-1 job here. 2 from the house of Givenchy, a favourite house of mine. And again, we already had 1, didn't we, from them in the list, so I couldn't put 3 separate places, but these guys are going to share a place. First up then, Monsieur de Givenchy, and I'm also going to tie that with INSENSE from Givenchy. Monsieur de Givenchy, a classic citrus aromatic gentlemanly scent, first released back in 1959. Fantastic citrus notes, green kind of bitterness. It's actually, I think, a Chypre fragrance officially, so it's got that kind of bitter green element. Definitely an old school vibe, lots of lavender, pleasant masculine woods, very, very gentlemanly, and a really, really beautiful fragrance in this modern reissue iteration. I do have the vintage too, slightly better and more vibrant perhaps, but there's not that much in it. Neither of them are massive performers. The vintage, if you can find it, is great fun to own, but the Mythiques Parfum reissue can still be got for decent prices. INSENSE, I won't spend too long because this is discontinued, extremely hard to find, can be very expensive. One of the best floral masculine fragrances ever, the usual kind of citrus stuff in there, loads of different floral notes. If I wanted to summarize this, it smells, it captures the way I think that the air should smell when the spring blossom really blooms on the trees. That I love to see that pink blossom on the trees symbolizing spring, and this just has that mixed in with a kind of aromatic fougere masculine overall aura, but loads and loads of those lovely pink petals symbolized by the skillful way they put floral notes in this. So this really rare to find fragrance, INSENSE. If you can find it, this is, if anything, I would put this number 1 in this video, spring in a bottle. Brilliant fragrance. Okay, we are nearly at the end now. Numbers 9 and 10 coming up. I'm going back in time yet again here for Guerlain. There had to be some Guerlain. I could have put loads of Guerlain ones, but I've just gone with the absolute classic Habit Rouge from 1965, sort of oriental fragrance, or maybe citrus stroke oriental. Lovely use of the note of rose in this one. A beautiful vanilla in the base, and we haven't had much vanilla in this video, and some lovely kind of citrusy notes in the top. It's classic, it's gentlemanly. It has a little twist of the sort of sweet and oriental vibe, a kind of piquancy, a bitterness about it as well. Beautifully balanced and still in the modern formula, which you can pick up really inexpensively. I think, yeah, really with that lovely rose note as well. Of course, spring, we think of flowers, and this puts me in a happy kind of mood, bit different to all the very citrusy ones that I've put in the video. Really, really classic and very timeless. It doesn't actually have an old school smell. It just has a unique and brilliant smell. Habit Rouge, the original Eau de Toilette version. You can still pick it up. Don't worry about getting a vintage one in that one, I don't think. Last up then, number 10. This is a bit, I was thinking, should I put that in a video? But I'm going to, damn it. Nautica Voyage. Some people will say, well, that's more of a summer list fragrance, but spring, summer, there's not a lot of difference in the mood for me that I wear them in. And because I just got it recently, I wanted to put it in. I am going to wear it a lot in spring. So Nautica Voyage, famous 2006 release from master perfumer Maurice Roussel. And it's a beautiful kind of blue aquatic smell, as the bottle colour or the juice colour kind of hints there. Loads of aquatic ozonic notes, a kind of soapy feel, a freshness, a vibrancy, almost an anti-fragrance when you don't feel like wearing something and being the aftershave guy or the cologne guy, but just great when it's a dumb reach, basically. Happy, optimistic, clean, fresh, and kind of looks forward spring into summer. Nautica Voyage, and some people say there's a vintage, I don't know about that. I think it has a metal lid or whatever. Just buy the normal modern one, spray a ton of it. It's brilliant and it's really affordable. So guys, those were my spring fragrances. Let me know what you thought of the list. That's my top 10 designer ones. And I'd love to hear your feedback. I'll try and answer as many comments as I can in the comments down there below. Thank you ever so much for joining me. It's been a real pleasure to spend time with you guys. I will see you in the next video. Remember, whatever you're doing in life, let's project. Bye-bye. Smelly.